Well, hi, everybody, and I am in the same predicament. We are live, and now we're going to record. Well, hello, everybody. It's 11:30 somewhere. It is not 11:30 here because I am technically challenged. Hello, and welcome to Out of the Spiritual Closet with Dawn and friends. I actually brought some friends this week. So this week is going to be fun because I got to shake off that whole technology thing right now. Yes. This week is going to be fun. We are talking about dragons, their energy, how you can use them metaphysically, how they show up, how we've seen them and used them. And I'm going to be honest that dragons is one area that I probably have like this much experience in, but I want to learn more, and I hope you all want to learn more. So that's why I brought these beautiful ladies, friends, and Akashic masters here so that they can tell you how they work with dragons, what their customers, clients, and friends have experienced, and what they personally experienced. So, I like to talk a lot. So without further ado, I'll go around. I'll just say hello to everybody, introduce them, and then we'll come back around. I'll let them tell you a little bit about themselves. So with me today, I have a few people. We got Michelle's names. We have two Michelles, not to be confused. We have below me in this lineup is Michelle Hamady. If I said it correctly, if I didn't, I have a...
Did.
I usually massacre every Wednesday. Welcome, Michelle. And then we have Michelle Chen over here, otherwise known as Michelle C today, purpose activator and sacred business alchemist. It's a mouthful, right? It's a big title, but she's got lots of big gifts too. And then we have the wonderful, the awesome, the Dragon Queen, Miss Lois up here. She's also in sunny Florida with me, so.
Sweating our collective sacks off.
And we brought the dragons with, so they turn up the heat for everybody. Right. So welcome, ladies.
Great to be here.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you all.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming and playing. So I am going to pass the mic down. We're going to go in clockwise direction, and everybody's just going to say hello and tell you a little bit about themselves for a moment. They are all awesome. They wouldn't be here with me if they were not awesome. I have trained with these ladies. We have gone through highs and lows together in our trainings. So they're very authentic. They're very real. And they got a lot of energy because I am sweating. So Michelle, can you just say hello? Michelle H below me. Can you just say hello and a little bit about like yourself? Just a little bit, because these ladies can sometimes not tell you how wonderful they are. So I'll be sure to drop that in.
Sure. I'm Michelle, and I'm a transformational coach, a creative possibilities alchemist, and I love to help people deepen into their inner trust so that they can navigate through life, which can get chaotic at times. And then that way they can create the life that they desire. And we spoke about the highs and lows, and there's been so many highs. It's just been amazing. And what a trip and what an adventure it's been. And thanks again for having me and all of us here today.
And so I'm going to go on mute. So you guys just pass the microphone. I'm going to pass it over to Michelle now. But yes, thank you for coming, and thank you everybody for tuning in. So Michelle.
Me, Michelle C. Yes, I am Michelle, purpose activator, sacred business alchemist. I help my clients. A lot of my clients are finding their purpose in life. And so I help my client awaken to their soul purpose, helping them find direction and to embody their inner light and the magic, the unique magic they're here to share, as well as their really potent medicine. So a lot of people who are attracted to me are healers themselves, light worker, light bringers. And so I'm here to help them kind of illuminate all of their gifts and their light so that they can help the collective and help the world.
Yes, very nice. Thank you, Michelle. Passing the microphone over to Lois.
Wow, you guys have amazing titles and stuff. I guess I'm a little behind the eight ball here when it comes to this, but what I'll tell you, I'm Lois Hissa. I'm a nurse intuitive. I'm an Akashic Record practitioner like everybody here. And I'm a Reiki master. I think everybody here is a Reiki master too. So I will jump on the bandwagon and say I am a transformational coach. I'm an expert in removing the bonds from women who want to move forward and fulfill their life's purpose without being tied to old ineffective beliefs.
Ooh, that's powerful stuff there, right?
Yep.
It really is.
Yes.
Yes.
Like goosebumps too. Oh my goodness. Like,
the dragon energy is intense, and I hope you guys can feel it too. So Lois mentioned that, we're all Akashic Records practitioners, Reiki masters. We have gone very advanced with our Akashic record and going deep into learning about the Akash and how we can help. Most of us started for ourselves, to be honest. So how we can help change things in ourselves and in others. And I think you'll hear that repeated here is that we all want to help others to transform that stuff that doesn't work anymore, those old limiting beliefs and ideas. And we got two alchemizers on the bottom here. They alchemize energy. And I think that anyone that works with Reiki energy understands that that is part of it, switching the energy, your frequency, so that you can live the best life possible. Yes, we have to deal with technical difficulties and bills and families and all that fun stuff. However, there is a way to go through life with ease and grace instead of constantly being in turmoil. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, that was huge in working with transformational coaches, was to, experience the same things, but feel it differently. And to, it doesn't mean bad things don't still happen to us or around us, but it's more important how we transition through it and what we do with that energy. So for today, we're going to learn about the dragons, and I'll include later on some pictures because I went on a deep hunt about the dragons. So I have been working with the dragons for a while as in Reiki, but I am angels. I love the angels, and I do love galactics and intergalactics too, but angels and unicorns, that's kind of my thing. But I was amazed to see that the dragons are actually supporting the angels in their work, and starting to understand that more made me really curious. So I wanted to hear a little bit from the ladies on how they've used dragons and the experiences that they have. So I have a few questions that I'll ask each of them, and we'll go around. But I'll have to say my experience with the dragons, like I said, is somewhat limited. I do Reiki energy work in almost all of my sessions, so I am using the dragons. Though it wasn't until I started talking about them more, they showed me who they really were and how they were showing up in my work. Because I'm going to be honest, I was afraid of the dragons. It was like so scary. But I have a lot, or had a lot, of religion in my life. So on the Western front and the Catholicism, dragons are not really played with. Archangel Michael slayed one, right? think that's what he slayed was a dragon. I can't quote exactly, but so for me, it was a foreign concept. So it may be foreign to a lot of people listening now, but I just ask you just to listen. Don't judge, because some of the things that we judge with are society's beliefs, as these ladies have talked about. That's what they're helping to remove. And so the stigma on dragons, I want to undemonize the dragons, right? So for me, the dragons came in big this year with the white and black dragon. And for me, that was huge in balancing my masculine and feminine energies. And I didn't know what it was because I am a 70s kid. So Puff the Magic Dragon was what I thought of whenever he would show up in my visions, right? That's how he would show up. And I'd be like, are you telling me what? Sing a song. I couldn't quite get it. And then they had to drop in for me in a way that I could understand. And I know Michelle H. and Lois, and I'm not sure about Michelle C., but I know that they've both been subjected to corporate. Michelle C too. Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure about that. So for me, it was really big, the white and black dragons, for balancing my masculine and feminine, because I come from a corporate environment and corporate paid my bills. I loved the structure for a while, and I loved the continuous, the safety, that's the word I was looking for, sorry, the safety of corporate. But other than that, it squashed a lot in my soul and it caused me to break apart. So as a woman manager in corporate, I had to present very masculine, right? I am 5'2". I'm not real big, but I'm big, right? And so for me, when I got into the self part of the Akashic Records and working with the dragons, I found out that my masculine side will often try to cover for things or try to take over. So for me, I use the dragons personally with my clients in Reiki. But for me, I've started working with them more so to balance my own energies. And then, of course, the gold dragon who dressed me today, that's been huge for me in burning off energy and starting to claim my new identity of how I see myself today as opposed to corporate time. So, all right, we all know I can talk way too much. So onward, we're going to talk to some of these lovely ladies and get some of their viewpoints. So we're going to go to Michelle, and I'm going to get my notes here. I'm going to become the reporter now. No, the interviewer. So Michelle H., I'm going to start with you. I had some specific questions, but what's your take on the dragons? What's your feelings towards them? What's your relationship with the dragons right now?
Oh, good question. There's so much. It's so vast. But what I wanted to start off with saying is, I know you've mentioned that your experience with dragons is like this. Well, they gave you a big taste of it just starting this with all the technology issues. And it's like the transformation that happens is to go from that frustration and to bring in that joy and that fun, and you've transformed it into a fun experience. What would have been, frustrating or aggravating, it turned out to be this joyful, fun experience. And that's what dragons do. They come in and they kind of lighten it up. It's not that serious. It's just part of life, but they will help you come in and remove those obstacles, but in a fun, joyous way. And with dragons have been in my awareness for several years now. And I think what really kind of deepened my relationship with them is the going through this amazing program, because I'm a Reiki master also, and going through this 5-element dragon Reiki. If you don't know about this, it's an amazing program. Erin Ryan, I'll give her a shout out too. She created this with using the acupuncture and just really bringing in the elements and the fire, water, air, earth, gold, these different elements of the dragon and their power to kind of move through the blockages through the body, because we are here in the 3D. So of course, what we want to do is make sure we're able to take these big energies that we have access to and anchor them and bring them here into the 3D reality. So the dragons help us with that. They, all our organs and things are, connected with emotions. We've got so many emotions. Some of them are stagnant. Some need to get removed and cleaned out of us. And, so of course we've got the dragons to come in and help break up a lot of stagnant energies. And ultimately, when you talked about like the fear, like a lot of times there is that fear of what we don't know. And I know, growing up, some of my relatives were, on the religious side too. So they're very limited, kind of closed-minded, because it's all wrapped in fear. And anything that is unknown is approached with a sense of fear. So of course, with dragons, witches, all that, it's been like demonized, right? And then also it goes back with the patriarchal stuff too, which all that's connected as well. But it's just the dragons, if you really think about it, they're here, they're our allies, they're a powerful source, but they're also a component of you too. It's bringing the power of who you are, kind of like, in childhood, we had the magical Puff the Dragon, right? And that was the inner child and tapping into that magic. And now as an adult, we're tapping into the power that the dragon brings, and the transformation that it brings and all that energy.
I love that. I wrote that down because I think I'll use that. The power of who you are. Mm-hmm. That is just huge. And yeah, I think that's a very nice overview of the dragons and some of your elements with them. And I love that's really a beautiful way of looking at it. And I love that you touched on the limiting beliefs. Mm-hmm. that people have had with words, right? With the images and with the words. So thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. Yep. And those words are anchored in our body, energetically. So there's a lot of layers.
Words are spells. I'm convinced of it. Yep. We wish each other well. We wish I'm sending you thoughts and prayers or love or whatever. Words are spells. Mm-hmm. When I started realizing that was huge. So thank you, Michelle H. Just to keep it so that we don't confuse any of our listeners, I'm going to go to Lois, if that's okay with Lois. Yeah, all right, perfect. So we'll separate the Michelles a little bit just so that you know who is who. So welcome, Miss Lois.
Thank you.
Dragon Queen over here. She has very good the dragon energy with this lady is huge. So tell us about your thoughts on the dragons, who they are and what you love about them and why you like them.
For me, I was I was born and grew up in a very conservative, black and white, right and wrong. When you say 70s, I was like, okay, I'm a little bit older than you. So I get it. And every gift that I had, I was told to pray away because spirits did not exist. Unicorns don't exist. Fairies don't exist. None of this stuff exists. All that exists is church and your family. That's it. Nothing else. So when I started to open 45, 50 years later, it was all really in my mind taboo because we didn't do that. We didn't believe in that, and that doesn't exist. But when they started slapping me in the face, like, hello, we're here, we do exist, I honestly didn't know what to do. So when the dragons came in, and this has been maybe 2 years ago. I'm trying to think, when did we take our healers course? 2 years ago, probably. That's when the dragons came in, and they came in when we found our healing chamber. That's where the first dragon showed up for me. And I was like, what the heck are you doing here? Because you don't exist. There are no dragons, you know. And this dragon kind of became my protector. He purified with fire my healing chamber and my crystal place where I could download healings and stuff. And he made it so that, like, at first it would look like a little crystal candy jar, you know, like a little lid. That's what it looked like. But now it's a castle, and he flies throughout these rooms, breathing fire to purify them so that I can make, or so that we can make healings and activations and whatever, you know, we're called upon to do. He was the first one that he kind of actually behaved more like a puppy. Like when I was in my heart space meditating or just trying to connect, he would just kind of curl up on my lap and just let me pet him and stuff. And I'm like,
That's what I was seeing when you were saying that. I was seeing him following you around like a spirit animal, like your animal with you. Like he just wanted to play with you. I'll go do that for you, Lois.
He did. And exactly. I did a Stonehenge activation where he would transport me and whoever I was working with to Stonehenge. And on the way, we would do barrel rolls and we would do loop-de-loops, and we would just have a fun time flying there.
And that goes to Michelle H's point about they're about the fun.
They really are. But
so he wanted to bring you more fun and take some of your burden from you. It sounds right. And that's something that I've always had trouble with, is having fun. I know you may not believe this, but I'm very much an introvert, and I don't like to get out of my comfort zone too often. So having fun for me is kind of getting out of that zone. So he comes and goes still to this day. Sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not. Michelle, Lois, does he have a name? Have you named him?
He has a name. You're going to ask me, and now I can't remember what it was because he's not been around for a little bit. But I
That's
believe
okay. Yeah, if you think of his name, that's interesting.
I think it was Gara.
Okay, I love that.
I believe. But after he kind of initiated me into the dragons, there's just been hundreds. There's one that is, she's a white dragon. She's completely all white, kind of sparkly, kind of disco ball-y looking.
Yes, I've seen her.
She just kind of flies over top. She doesn't come down and interact. She's kind of like I want to call her like an overseer. She kind of keeps everybody else in line, dragon-wise. She's like the dragon boss. When I go to the beach to ground, there are literally hundreds of them. And they're all different colors, all different sizes, all different shapes, all different textures. And that's where I see them the most.
But that's interesting, because that's to Michelle's point as well about the elements. And I finally started figuring that out myself this year, was, because I do work with the elements. They were trying to get me to work more, but by calling in the elements and being in the elements, you're actually able to connect with them. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that.
And there are certain ones that they'll show up for certain things. If I'm receiving a healing, there's one that is black and white, and it has gold in between. And it reminds me of, I don't know if it's Japanese or Chinese, it's Asian, where they take the broken pieces of cups in China and they put it together with gold. That's exactly what this one looks like. And he circles overhead. And when I ask him, what are you here for? He goes, I'm just paying attention. I'm just watching to make sure everything's okay. And that's like his job. He doesn't interact any more than that. But I think it's cool how, like, everybody has their own dragons. Everybody has their own way of working with them. And I'll tell you, I'm very protective of my dragons. And I get somewhat offended when people talk about slaying their dragons. I'm like, they're guardians and they're protectors. And how could you do that? They're wonderful. You want to slay something, slay your demons. Leave my dragons alone.
Right. That's beautiful too. I love that. I'm going to write that one down. right? All those old phrases. Why did they say those? Part of the reason I found on my journey was to take the power from the people. They didn't want the people to understand that we had the powers to call in elementals, to call in dragons, to call in energy like that, to do the work to help each other, because you were supposed to need the patriarchal leader to give you those things. They were the only one. Come to the church, we'll give it to you there and only there. Well, why can't I get it on the mountain? No, come to the church. Anyway, so I love that. Thank you, Lois. That is beautiful. And last but not least, Michelle C. Oh, we lost Lois for a minute. She'll be back. Don't worry, she'll be back. Michelle, welcome. Thank you. She's been sitting there patiently waiting.
I love listening to everybody because my experience is so similar. Everyone, like I share little elements from each and every one story. Like you, Don. So I worked in the Akash, and I'm a Reiki practitioner as well. And like Michelle Hamady, I'm 5 elements, Dragon Fire Reiki healer. So for me, so I've always worked with angels and archangels, and that have always been like, that was my main guides that I work with. And so when the dragon came in, it's actually very interesting. This is a really interesting story. Like you, when they came in the first time, I was like, who are you? They came in when I was in the shower. Like they like a lot of guides like to do. And I was
right?
like,
The water, another element there.
and then in the shower where I was kind of open, so I do a lot of thinking in my shower, and so like there's not a lot of distraction. So they came in, and I remember the first time I was like, who are you? The energy was scary to me. And I was like, because I wasn't ready yet. And I was like, please leave. And then they came in the second time, and I said the same thing. Months later, I was like, please leave. And then they started coming into my client session. And initially, I was like, wow, I'm attracting a lot of clients with dragons around. Okay, this is interesting. Then the dragon said to me at one point, I'm not for them, I'm for you. I'm here for you. And then I was like, okay, let's talk now. What is this? And so I started learning more about the dragons. They are, for me, really about, because they're protectors, they are fearless, they're really about embodiment. And so I started learning a little more, and I work in the Akash a lot. So in the Akash, they come in, and I have a conversation with them, asking them questions about why are they here, what are they here for, who are they here for. And so I started this journey of kind of learning more about the dragons and just working with them more and more in the Akash. And what I thought was the most amazing thing, they not only help me embody my purpose, make clear my purpose, but to do it in a way that's authentic and kind of fearless. Because I have so much fear. And living in a culture, and I'm not going to talk about my background or my childhood.
Cancel, release. You used to have fear.
Right. No, exactly. I used to. And so having them by my side, and I had a gold dragon, I should say a gold dragon who came in. And so like Lois, this one dragon was like, I'm here to teach you, initiate you into this. The gold dragon is kind of like the guide and shown me in the Akash. We have traveled multiple lifetimes. I've worked with this dragon by my side. And so the dragon was kind of clear, and I've never like, they're insistent on basically telling me which direction I should go. They helped me channel healing. I did a lot of, when they started coming in, it started just like becoming its own thing. I would have a session with a client. Everything is so let, and then the dragons just come in. The dragons are not necessarily like, some of them, the dragons will say they want to work with the client. And then I'm like, okay, let's do it now. And then the clients go back with the session with the dragon. Like Lois, they come in all shape and sizes and all texture. A lot of times they would show up. I've never seen a dragon like that before, or even know what they can do. And so I asked them. So a lot of times it's this way. They come in, they pop in, and they go out. And if I do a healing in a Reiki session or a Akash, they just come in a lot. And the dragons for me, since day one, was kind of teaching me, showing me step by step how to do timeline healing in a specific way, a specific medicine, I guess, unlocking a specific medicine for me, ancestral healing, but they were very specific about how they want me to channel their fire in those area. So for me, it's just been like this crazy,
I love
wonderful
that.
journey
So
that
you've
I
been dating the dragons, learning about them, asking
right,
questions.
and just being with them. And now when I'm in the coach session, they just come in, and I always tell my clients, I'm like, well, even if you're not, thankfully, well, set the intention that people who are drawn to me are ready to receive dragon medicine, because dragon medicine is deep, it's ancient, it's profound, and it's really, they're the ultimate alchemists, right? I talk about them being a manifestor and alchemist, and for me, it was kind of easier to accept them in a certain way. So in my culture, dragons are auspicious. They're powerful, they're revered. Lots of us have little jade dragons that we will wear as pendants or in the house as like a blessing, and they're protectors. And so it was a little easier. And the dragons show up to me as a Western form or an Eastern form, depending on how they are here to lend their energy to me. So it's just
Wow,
been,
I love
yeah.
that. Yeah. And I wondered that if culturally your acceptance would be easier than mine, just because of what I was raised with, right? We didn't celebrate with dragons. We had the angels come in. And so, yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. That was
Yeah. But
interesting.
I, so I'm Christian.
Mhm.
And so in a church. And
It's
so for
beautiful.
me, yeah. And so for me, when the angels came in, I was like right away ready to work with them. So the dragons took a little bit, but their energy, and I understand it now, at that time, I just wasn't ready yet. There was a lot of other things I needed to clear before I could even kind of like bring their energy, hold their energy, and then channel their energy for my clients. But the most beautiful thing was like, I thought it was for them. It really was for me. So as I'm helping others, I'm helping myself as well. Does that make sense? It's hard to explain it.
100%. And I think that all of us would agree with you. I'm going to speak for all of us. You can jump in if you don't, but that the work that we do helps us as much as it helps the person. Because there's a relationship, right? Whether it's an individual or a group, you're drawn to a person's energy, and we have similar things that we're working with. So yes, I love how the dragons have been coming in. They're just really powerful beings, and I'm thrilled that they have like finally come to me in a way that I can accept, or I finally grown enough that my shadow isn't so hard, so scary anymore. So I had a couple questions, and I just went into Dragonland there. Let's see, what did I have prepared, because I totally lost that. Oh, I know what I was going to ask. So for me, what I noticed, and I don't know if what everybody's doing with light language. I love light language. For those of you that don't know what it is, in the religious sector, they would call it talking with tongues. And I had a hard time with light language because of that. I'm going to be honest. I still have, in certain circles, I'm learning to be more free flowing. But what I noticed was that I could never pinpoint the differences in my light language till I started studying the dragons. And I realized that I was channeling dragons with light language with the sounds and with the moving of the energy when they have me do that. So when I was doing it through light language, they didn't scare me, and I would just let them do what they needed me to do. Only after hearing different light language and hearing the dragon light language, I was like, oh, okay, you guys are with me. And I can't do it on demand because they show up or they don't, right? So I would try to do it right now and it would feel phony. So I'm not going to be phony about it. But if they do come in, I will let loose. So I don't know, do you guys have the dragons in your light language? If you do light language, if anyone wants to jump on that, please go ahead.
I was actually just thinking about light language. I don't speak it, but I also, with my relatives, I did the speaking in tongues too. So I knew of it from way back then. And of course, going through Amy's light language classes too. But I noticed for me, it especially lately, like when I'm writing, I'm having like difficulty writing the letters I want to write, the words I want to write. They just don't make sense. So I'm wondering if I just need to just let go, get out of the way, and whatever light language symbols need to come through. That's kind of where, so it's interesting because I was just thinking about that this morning. So it's interesting that you bring that up.
See if you get a symbol during this or afterwards. So maybe Michelle will have something to share. So light language, for people that don't know what it is a deep, deep healing. It's a deep conversation with the cells. I'm not saying it properly right now. My words are really not getting me today, but light language, it just cuts past all the crap. And it goes to the core of your being. Light language can shift things, move things, because it gives you the messages at a cellular level so that the mind can get out of the way and you don't need to understand. Light language is often done in song, in word, in sound. It is also done in movement. I'm usually more movement than anything. Yeah. Some of the others too. Yes. So some of the movements of clearing during Reiki, I find, are the dragon energy, the light language with the dragons. But so sound, song, speaking, movement, and then symbols, as Michelle said. So light language comes in all different forms. And if you're listening to this and you're challenged by that, or you're intrigued by it, I mean to say, sit down with pen and paper and see if you get any doodlings. That could be your dragon symbol. Consult with one of the ladies or myself, and we'll tell you what we get from it. You know, put it up in one of our groups or on this YouTube, and we'll be happy to just tell you what messages we see. You may even, they're telling me now, when you go to draw it, you may even be guided to use particular colors. The colors will be important. So that's the message that my team has given me on that. So cool.
Yeah. I'll add, they're kind of like, if you think of like zip files, right? And it's like symbols. When you see something, it like has so much information, then it takes a minute to decipher it, you know, like, because the mental is a little bit slower to go through the thoughts and the feelings and bring it all. And, you know, so when you get these symbols, these light language symbols, it's kind of like an energetic packet. So it takes some time to really bring in and kind of decipher, unlock, open, unzip, you know, all those terms, and kind of
love that though. That's a great way of putting the analogy in there for people. And when you upload, when you click a program that's a zip file, it starts working right away, even though it may take a few minutes to reach all the cells or whatever time it takes. So that's beautiful, Michelle. Thank you. Anyone else? Michelle, Lois is getting some messages right now, so we're gonna put her on the spot. I see her. That's all I can tell you. A lot of us, if you're like, what did you see? A lot of us will look up to the sky when we're channeling, when we're getting messages. We look up to the left, so we're not ignoring you. We're trying to get their messages in. So go ahead, Lois. Is there something you wanted to share, or was it a personal joke from your dragon?
No. No, not a personal joke. I mean, I can make lots, but I'm not here. But what I'm seeing is almost a neon dragon outlined like in gold, and on her belly, I don't know how else to say it, but there are light language symbols. And Michelle H., this message is really for you. What she's saying, or what I'm guided to tell you she's saying, is let me come through via your pen. It's like she will not listen to me. Like you're resisting, and she's been trying to come through for a while now. She's like, tell her to just let go. So there's your message. Let go. Because whatever you're trying to write, she's trying to give that to you, and you're resisting. So
yeah,
she says to she's showing me you with one of those sleeping masks, you
I
know,
was just gonna say
Put your-
that.
put your blinders on and just let your hand go.
Mhm.
No, I was getting that
Like
same message.
Bright yellow
Lois.
neon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a bright golden yellow neon dragon with light language symbols. I don't know what they mean, but light language symbols on her belly.
Mhm.
So that's yeah, that's what I got.
That's awesome. Thank you, Lois. That makes so much sense too. Because I've been fighting my hand, like, no, I'm supposed to write this word. This is what I'm, yeah.
And she's, well, what she also says is that once you let her take over, it won't take long. And then you can finish writing whatever it is you want to write.
Mhm.
But she's like, she just will not let go. Why won't she let go? So,
But I just heard to be sure to give her the acknowledgement,
yeah.
like in there, written by my blah, you know, whatever dragon, not blah. She is not blah.
No, she is not.
I know.
She is
But they
not.
were showing you like physically putting a mask on, like a sleep mask, and writing, just so that you couldn't interfere. Beautiful. See, this is why we like to play together. We help ourselves, we help each other, and we want to help you guys too. So you're getting a little taste of everybody and our own little unique secret sauces and magic. So that's really the purpose of this. We are coming up on the hour, even though we started a little bit late, but I want to ask just a few more questions and I'll just throw them out there and whoever wants them can take them. How about that? Does anyone have a personal success story of a client with their dragon that they want to share, or one for themselves for something they were working on that the dragons came in? Anything of that nature, please go ahead.
I can share one that I do a lot of times. When I always set the intention that for people who feel drawn to work with me are ready to receive dragon medicine. And it's really interesting because my clients are like, I don't really know about the dragons. And then it really is the testimonials I receive go really crazy pants. There was one that I thought was really good, and I'm not going to share names for privacy reasons. I didn't know I could do this either, but in the session, the person was having fears about stepping into her purpose as a Reiki practitioner, but I've always wanted to do it. And in the session with her, fire dragon came in, and the fire dragon say, I want to help her, like activate her dragon's breath. And I was like, I didn't know I can do this. But so everything in the session was led by the dragon, and he activated dragon's breath and was led to tell like how to use it. And she started using the dragon's breath for like in her healing session, like teaching her this is how you can do it, all of that in the session. After the session was over, she messaged me later with like this long, she was just like all the outpouring of emotion, but that how she felt like she could do this now. And that she's been using her breath in her work, like not just in her Reiki sessions, because she wasn't sure if she wanted to pursue it, but in her job, at her corporate job, and in her life. And I just thought it was so amazing because a lot of times we have this duality, and I do too. And I like to think of it having no separations and no duality. We're here to collapse all of them, masculine, feminine, everything. And I always think about if we're in a corporate world or we are in a 3D world, how do we bring our 5D gifts? How do we let some of those soul gifts come through, even in a world where people may think of us like they'll be like, are you crazy for sharing this? And so it was a little bit of like, oh, seeing the possibilities. And so for myself too, that she was using it to help create a protection. She was using it to cut cords, all of that in her life, and using the fire dragon's breath. And I just thought that was really cool because it also wasn't just transformation for her, it was also for me to see things in a different way and like all these possibilities that we can bring the 5D into the 3D, everyday life. So that was just one story.
No, I love that because there's always a story. There's always somebody that experiences it and that they can, or they articulate it back to us, so that we can share that out there. So, well, we're going to start wrapping up. So thank you, Michelle, for that. I appreciate that. And thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, ladies, for coming. I wanted to just let everybody do a goodbye, but some of the things that we've talked about today with the dragons are that we all have them, whether you know it or not, you have dragons around you. And if you're willing and you're willing to take that first step, the dragons will meet you where you're at, right? Even for me, who was so afraid, they started just knocking on the door. First, they came in as a cartoon. First, they came in from my childhood as Puff the Magic Dragon. But now they're coming in their regal form, just showing me what they can really do. And so that's huge. Shadows, they help you with your shadows. They help you to set up protection, help you to cut cords, to balance your energies. I think they're huge too, but they are limitless in what they can do. You know, as each of the ladies has shared with you today, they've had an experience, they've worked with it, and they continue to work with it. So I am putting this out there that if you are interested in the dragons and working with these lovely ladies, their links are all going to be below the lives. You can reach out to them. They have shared their links and some gifts and some wonderful stuff. They all run their own communities. You can join them there. You can meet them when they come back here again. Just reach out. If you're interested in somebody and you caught them on my live, you're not cheating on me if you go with these ladies. I promise you. It's all good. I don't like to work that hard anyways. You know, we all got to help each other. So I am semi-retired at this point in life. So, right. But no, seriously, you know, there's the right person for what you're working on. You know, today it might be someone on the panel. Tomorrow it may be somebody totally different. You have to do what works for you, right? Just like each one of us has learned that along the way. So I'm going to let each of the ladies say their goodbyes and any other things you want to add to let them know why they may want to work with you or anything of that nature. It's your time. Please go ahead. I'll start with Michelle below me, Michelle H. Put her on the spot.
All right, put me on the spot. Thanks again for having me and having all of us in this group today. This has been amazing. It's been so fun. So I wanted to say too, and just tie it in also with the dragons and the work and with everything that we do, we are always constantly learning and evolving. And every time we're learning something new, we're bringing that back, excuse me, in what we do. And sharing that with who we're working with also, and, you know, with others in the community. So it's like we're all growing. And just like you said, it's like, it's just finding the right person who you resonate with at the moment, because we all have so much to offer. And I'm really excited about like even deepening into the light language and letting that come out, because I work with mandalas with my clients currently, and you know, the dragons come through that. And also you know, when I do like the past life regressions, and that's always a beautiful experience. But so I just wanted to say, it's just so cool to keep adding new experiences to it and just keep deepening and opening to the magic, because there's so much magic in life. And we're here to just co-create as much of it as we can with one another.
Thank you, Michelle. That was sweet. I love that. Yes, thank you. Michelle C., any final words, goodbyes, hello?
Oh, thank you for yeah, I just want to echo what Michelle Hamady said about trusting your intuition, working with who you feel aligned to work, and to just know it's what you said, you know, have fun in the process. And I would say, so for me, I do like her, because all of us are Akashic practitioner. And so past life regression. I do soul origins illumination. And so if you feel called to work with the dragons, you don't even know why, that take that as kind of like take that as they're calling you. They want to work with you. There's a reason you are ready to embody their magic. You are ready to embody their medicine. You're ready to embody your power. And so I think any one of us who work with dragon would know that. So yeah. And I work with dragons in the Akash all the time. And so if you feel drawn to that, and I combine that with human design and all the different other modalities that I learn, because like everyone on this call, we are constantly adding new modalities, expanding our spiritual gifts to help and empower more people on Earth.
Great. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Miss Lois, any final words and goodbyes?
So yeah, I know we didn't bring this up, but like I'm just being called to tell you, to remind you, there is an episode of Ancient Aliens that is all about dragons. And I'm sorry, I meant to look it up and find the season and the episode and everything. I didn't get a chance to and totally forgot about it. But it is very, very interesting, and it goes through dragons and how they could come from the constellation Dracos, and how things on like monoliths and stuff on Earth align with that particular constellation. So I thought I would throw that in because I found that just amazing. Yeah. One of the places that I grew up in Ohio. One of the places in Ohio is called Serpent Mound. And Serpent Mound is directly aligned with that particular constellation. Yeah, right? It's also aligned with the Seven Sisters constellation. So yeah, I have goosebumps like
I know. I've just got them all down my body as you said that. Yeah, all the way down the legs. Perfect.
And the other thing too, I want to say is that if you are in your spiritual journey and the dragons have not shown up for you, it doesn't mean they won't. It means that you're not ready yet. That's when they show up, when you're ready. Unless you're Michelle and you push them away and go, nope, nope, go away, go away, go away. Right, twice. She pushed them away twice. I was just like, oh, okay, I guess you're coming in, whatever.
No, I was afraid for 55 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I always saw the dragons, but I wasn't playing with them. So thank you, Lois. That's huge. And that show was so good. I actually have it recorded. So I'll go back and capture that and put that in there.
It was amazing. That was a really cool show. And it showed a lot of the different monoliths from all over the world being very similar. And how is it that there's, I'm not an ancient alien, like I don't watch it all the time, but there have been some really good episodes on there. And just FYI, I have tickets to go see the high-haired guy, Giorgio Tsoukalos, in Tampa in November. I cannot wait.
Okay.
I know that has nothing to do with dragons, but
I was going to say, what does he have to do with the dragons? Well,
not a darn thing
about that. I'm going to go to see Ringo Starr and his all-star band next week. I think it is. It's the 26th at the new park in Clearwater, Florida. First time ever. But I'm going old school. I'm doing lawn seats. So we'll see how that goes. I may be too old for lawn seats.
But anyway, just FYI.
See, Lois made sure she brought the fun of the dragons back there. So thank you, everybody, for your time. Thank you, ladies, for your time. These are all very busy ladies, and they gave up an hour of their time to come and play with us today. So I am so grateful for your presence and your energy and all your beautiful insights. All of their links to contact them will be below this video, and reach out to us. And if you like this kind of thing, let us know. Maybe we'll do an experience with the dragons next time. Lois gave you a little experience for Michelle, but if the ladies are interested and we have an interest in it, maybe we'll run an experience event in the future. So thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you. Thank you.